Welcome to church, and we're going to get ready for the word this morning. I am so excited to preach. I have a lot in my heart today. We've been on a series, this is the third Sunday, about God's presence. We've kind of named the theme Presence People, and it's really just that title, that we've been talking about God's presence in our life, and really the main theme is that sentence right there. It's time to redig the well. We've been talking about wells in our life, redigging the well in our life, and well being the presence of God, hunger for God, the pursuit of God, the well in our life that is His presence. And that's what we've been doing, Pursuit Nights, every single Thursday. We've had 2 so far. They have been amazing. If you have not come out to Pursuit Night, you are missing out. It has been so much fun praying, taking time, thinking. And so be here this Thursday night, 7 o'clock, as we continue our Pursuit Nights. But really just the whole month of June, we've been spending time, extra time, talking about God's presence, God's well, the well in our life. And we've talked about it for the last 2 weeks. If you've missed those sermons, jump on YouTube. You can follow up with us and listen to those sermons. But we're going to continue today. And if you have a Bible, go with me to the book of Isaiah, today. If you don't have a Bible, there's one right in front of you. You can grab that one and read along with us. If you do not own a Bible at all, you can take that one. It's yours. Or if you just want to read today, it will be up on the screen here in a moment. We're going to go to the book of Isaiah. It's in the Old Testament, if you're kind of flipping and looking for it. It's in the Old Testament. It's actually the biggest book in the Bible. Not the longest. Psalms is the longest book, but Isaiah is the biggest book. It's the thickest. It's right in the middle. To the left. And so if you need to use the table of contents, use it. Don't be like stuck in Jeremiah, just like faking it all service, okay? Like find the book of Isaiah, chapter 55. Chapter 55 is where we're going to go today. Isaiah 55. We're going to read just the first 2 verses here in a moment, and then we'll read the rest of the chapter after we pray. But I just want to read the first 2 verses to kind of get a theme that we're going to pick up today. And if you're new to church and you're new to this whole space, this whole thing, maybe you came because it's Father's Day, maybe you came because you found us on socials, maybe your girlfriend brought you, I don't know how or why you got in this room, but we're going to talk about this book today. We believe the Bible is the book of our life. It's not just a moral book, a historical book, or a good book. It is God's book. It is His book. It's not a man book. It's God's book. And we believe that this is the light unto our path. It leads us. It guides us. It speaks to us. And so we're going to spend the next 38 minutes and 9 seconds and not a second over. Shut up. Maybe a few seconds over, okay, maybe a few seconds over. But here we go, Isaiah chapter 55. I'm gonna read it from the NLT version. It says, is anyone thirsty? Come and drink. Even if you have no money, come and take your choice of wine or milk. It's all free. Why spend money on food that does not give you strength? Interesting question. Why spend your money on food that does not give you strength? Why pay for food that does you no good? Listen to me, and you will eat what is good, and you will enjoy the finest food. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Come to me. Why spend your money on food that does not give you strength? This morning, my title for our talk is Comfort Food. Comfort food. If you want to write that down somewhere, take notes. It is a proven fact that those that take notes go to heaven quicker, and they have a bigger house in heaven, okay? It's theologically proven in the Message version. So if you want to write notes, write that down. Comfort food, comfort food. Let's pray as we jump into Isaiah 55 today. Father, I thank you for your word. Would you speak to us? Would you reveal yourself, God, on this amazing Father's Day? And God, we do believe that you are the good Father. You are the perfect Father. You are the amazing Father. Even for those of us that never had one, you have now come and become our Father. Jesus, we love you. Speak to us today. We thank you that the Son is on the way, literally and spiritually. We thank you for it today, God. Would you speak to us as we spend a few moments in your word? In your mighty name I pray. Everyone said? For those of you who don't know, if you are new to our church or visiting today, my wife and I, next month is 11 years of us being together. 11 years. We have 3 kids. We have an 8-year-old son named Cruz. We have a 6-year-old daughter named Quinn. And now we had an accident, a blessing. We now have a 9-month-old. that was not planned. Julia just looks really good. And so we now have a 9-month-old son that was not totally planned, and his name is Rhodes, and we call him Chunks. And I don't know if you're married and or have kids, but there is so many pregnant people at our church right now. There's something in the water. We got to stop. It's too much. Like we've had so many infants born the last few months. Even this week, Jake and Alexis, I think Jake might be here. I saw him. I don't know why you're in church. He's had a kid 3 days ago. But Jake is here. Yes, he's had a kid 3 days ago. Well, Alexis had a kid 3 days ago, not Jake. Jake did nothing. He was just there in the beginning. So many babies being born. And if you have not experienced, there's this thing that is very, very real, and at moments and times, very scary. It's called pregnancy cravings. These things are next level. My wife, she's had 3 kids. All 3 of the kids, she's had very different cravings. And I'm convinced it's given the children's personalities differently based off what she's been eating. Cruz, the only thing she wanted the whole pregnancy with Cruz was Taco Bell. Taco Bell. Crunchwrap Supreme, beans instead of beef, Supreme Taco. She'd wake me up at 1 a.m, go get me food. Get up. And I'm like half asleep, get up, go get me food. And she didn't have to say, what did she want or where to go? I was like, I'll go get you Taco Bell. So I'd like stumble my way. And this was always the worst. By the time I came back with the food, she was asleep. And if I woke her up, hell to pay. Cruz, all Taco Bell, whole time. Quinn, Chipotle. Whole time. Whole time. Burrito bowl, extra spice, plus tapatio, plus extra hot. She essentially ate hot sauce with a side of beans and sour cream. It was a bowl of hot sauce. That's why Quinn's who she is. Julie ate hot sauce for 6 months. And that has played very real into this girl's personality. Chipotle, whole time. Every day, 2 times, Chipotle. Chunks, we took a hard left turn with Chunks. KFC. Hard left turn, KFC. Not the chicken, mac and cheese only. Not even the chicken, just, I need some mac and cheese. I need some mac and cheese. And she was pregnant during days, remember the snowstorm that shut the whole city down? You remember this like 1.5 years ago? That's when she was pregnant, and she sent me to KFC during that night, and the whole city was down. And I waited in line for 1.5 hours because so many people, because everything else was shut down. And by the time I was the last car to get to the front, and the young lady goes, "Sir, I'm so sorry. We are completely out of food. The entire restaurant, the entire store is gone." So I had to wait 1.5 hours, then go home and look at my wife's face and go, "I'm late and I'm empty-handed." So it wasn't a good night in our household. I'm still recovering and counseling because of it, but cravings. My wife has had very different cravings, all 3 pregnancies. And you can do your own studies and read about our physical cravings, what it does to even our human side and how we crave things. And what's really interesting is what you eat is what you crave, and then what you crave is what you eat. And actually, the more you eat something, you actually build yourself a craving. It's called a palate. The more you eat something, the more you crave it. What's interesting is not just physically that God has built us in a way to have cravings. We want food, and what we eat is what we want, and what we want is what we eat. There's actually an entire motif throughout the entire Bible about what you crave spiritually. Follow me. This might sound very boring and very nerdy, but it's very, very interesting, and I think it applies very much to what we're going to read today, is that God is very concerned on what you crave, on what you want, on what you desire. There's a theological term, if you want to get real nerdy today, it's called hyperlinking or motifs that go from Genesis to Revelation. They're like these threads that go through the entire Bible, and you can start picking them up in every book, in every theme, in every chapter. They're called hyperlinks, and they keep going throughout the entire Bible, and they build upon each other. There's a hyperlink, or there is a motif from Genesis to Revelation about food and water, about what you hunger for and about what you thirst. In other words, about what you crave. I'll give you just a few of them this morning. Genesis starts out with a wedding. If you don't know this, that the Bible says that God made Adam and then he made Eve, and then the Bible says God walked Eve to Adam. It was the first father walking his daughter down the aisle to her bride. Genesis starts with a wedding, and what is the first command? Eat this. Genesis 2 starts that way. Revelation 22 ends with a wedding. That Jesus is the bridegroom and the church is his bride, and he comes down and gets his bride back. And the Bible starts with a wedding, it ends with a wedding, and the last thing we are told to do in Revelation 22 is drink this. The Bible starts with eating and it ends with drinking. There is in the Old Testament with the nation of Israel, every single time the nation of Israel moved cities or moved camps, God would change their diet and say, do not eat this, eat this. They would change cities. Do not eat this, eat this. Every single time Israel moved cities in the Old Testament, their diet was changed. Jacob and Esau. Esau gave up his birthright that he might be filled because he was so hungry, he gave up his God-given call. Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness shall be filled. 1 Corinthians, the entire chapter, Paul's writing to the church of Corinth, and he says, everything written in the Old Testament was for our blessing and our example so that we might not crave what our fathers craved. The entire chapter is him challenging our cravings. The prodigal son, he leaves the father's home and he goes to a pig's pen and he eats food he would never eat. And then he realizes about what his father? My father's fridge is full. I should go home because that food is better. Jesus, when he was resurrected, the entire book of Acts says that every place he went to, he ate and drank in melody. One of the main psalms in the book of Psalms is that we should taste and see that the Lord is good. There's a theme or a hyperlink that the entire Bible, what are you hungry for and what are you thirsty for? And there's many, many more examples. I'm not going to bore you with more, but it's this theme over and over and over again that God is very concerned on what you do with your cravings, on what you do when you're hungry, on what you do when you're thirsty, on what you do when you want something. Where do you go to get it? God is concerned with what you crave. Let's go back to Isaiah 55. I said all that to land back in Isaiah 55. Look at Isaiah 55, 1 and 2. We read it, and we'll read the rest of the chapter, but read it again. Is anyone thirsty? Same theme. Come and drink. Even if you have no money, come and take your choice of wine and milk. It's all free. Why spend your money on food that does not give you strength? Why pay for food that does you no good? Listen to me, and you will eat what is good. You will enjoy the finest food. I want you to write this down. Don't get mad at your cravings. Question where you go to fulfill them. What happens is we have these cravings, a craving for love, a craving for joy, a craving for intimacy, a craving for money, a craving for security, a craving for friendship. And what we do is we have these cravings, and instead of going to where we should go, we go to places that will never ever fulfill our craving, and we pay for it. And have you ever got done eating a meal and still been hungry? Like, I don't eat healthy very often. Whenever I have a salad, I'm like, babe, do you see I ate the salad? And she's like, that's empty calories. That doesn't even do anything for you. What is God saying? You are eating something thinking you'll be filled after the meal. And you're hungry within 30 minutes. You're like, why am I hungry again? I just had joy. Why am I hungry again? I just had love. Why am I hungry again? I just got paid. Why am I hungry again? Because you are paying for food that will never satisfy your craving. So what we do is like, that's right, I shouldn't want joy. Let's shove the craving. I shouldn't want intimacy. Let's shove the craving. And you are shoving cravings God gave you, but don't get mad at your cravings. Question where you go to fulfill them. So it's not shove the craving of you want love, you want joy, you want intimacy, you want security, you want finances. All of those cravings are good. What becomes wrong in them is where you go to fulfill your craving. I want to ask you this morning, what have you chosen as your comfort food? What have you chosen when life is crashing? What do you pay to fill you with? And what's so interesting about as we start Isaiah 55, he goes, why are you paying for that when this is free? It's amazing that we can actually pay for something and not be filled, while something that is free is waiting for us that would fill us. And that's why he asked, are you thirsty? Are you hungry? Come and eat. Stop wasting your money on food that does not give you strength. This morning, I want to talk about our cravings. And my goal throughout this entire series, if you've not picked up yet, is I'm trying to re-dig the well of your craving for God's presence. Your desire for God's presence. Your hunger for his presence. Look at, there's a few of them that I love. Psalms 42. As the deer longs for streams of water, so I long for you, O God. I thirst for God, the living God. When can I go up and stand before him? Psalms 143. I lift my hands to you in prayer. I thirst for you as a parched land thirsts for rain. Psalm 63, oh God, you are my God. I earnestly search for you. My soul thirsts for you. My whole body longs for you in this parched and weary land where there is no water. I could read many more. It's this theme that David writes, I'm thirsty for you. I'm starving for you. I am hungry for you. It's like I'm living in a land with no water. That's how much I need you. It's like I'm living in the desert with no water and I'm starving. I'm thirsty for a touch of water. That's how my soul is for you, God. Is there anything in you right now that's hungry for God? That's hungry for him, hungry for his presence, hungry for his word, hungry for a time with him, hungry for prayer, hungry for church. And by the way, righteousness is an acquired taste. The other day we had some friends over and we're cooking and I was outside on the grill and I come in and I go, the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life was in my home. And I was like, guys, what is that? Like, what are you talking about? What is that smell? Did Rhodes poop his diaper? Like, what is that? And they go, bro, what are you talking about? And I go, what is that smell? And they were cooking Brussels sprouts. I was like, that's how much I hate healthy stuff. It smells like really bad to me. You know, I was like, what is this? Like, dude, it's Brussels sprouts. I was like, oh, that's why I hate them. So when you begin to eat something new that your palate isn't used to, it tastes bad in the beginning. But the more that you eat it or the more that you taste it, your palate is changing to something that you need in your body. Righteousness is an acquired taste. Serving the Lord is an acquired taste. It tastes weird in the beginning. It's like, why church? Why giving? Why serving? Bible, prayer? Like, I don't really like this. This is controlling. This is religious. Until you start doing it, then it's like, man, I haven't done this in a few hours. I need to go pray for a bit. I need to go read for a bit. I've been in church in 2 weeks. I need to be at church with my family and my friends. Why? Because your palate is turning toward the Lord. Your craving is turning toward the Lord, and you actually start hungering and thirsting and wanting and desiring. But it always doesn't start that way. It doesn't start with the wanting. It starts with discipline. It starts with decision. Like, no, I'm going to make this a part of my palate because I want to be able to say, like David said, I thirst for God. I'm hungry for the Lord. I have a craving. Do not be mad at your cravings. Question where you go to fulfill them. Because every one of you have cravings. Late night Taco Bell runs, Chipotle runs, and KFC mac and cheese runs. You have Cravings. You have a craving to be loved. Where do you go to fulfill it? You have a craving to feel important. Where do you go to fulfill it? You have a craving to feel secure. Where do you go to fulfill it? You have a craving for intimacy. Where do you go to fulfill it? Stop demonizing your cravings and question how you get to them to be fulfilled. I want to go the rest of Isaiah 55. And now that we've chosen, well, I'm thirsty for God. I want the Lord. I want to thirst for him, hunger for him. He's my craving. He's my desire. Look at Philippians 2. This is what begins to happen. This is my prayer for you today. Philippians 2. For God is working in you. Stop there. You are not working in you. God is working in you. You are not working in you. How much you've grown and how much you've become more like Jesus is not you working in you. It is God working in you. To do what? Giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases him. So your prayer today should not be, I'm going to hunger for the Lord. It should be, Lord, I want to hunger for you. Give me the desire and the will to hunger for you. Give me the desire and the will to search for you. Lord, give me the desire. Work in me that I might will and want what pleases you. And now we're going to go through the rest of Isaiah 55 on what happens when you choose the Lord, when you choose God as the thing that satisfies your craving. There's 5 things that happen when you choose him. We're going to go quick. Let's keep going. Verse 3. Verse 3. Now, by the way, as we get there, just because what you crave is not sinful does not mean it's helpful. Doesn't mean you're like, well, I don't crave alcohol. I don't crave, that. I don't crave what she craves. Just because what you crave is not sinful does not mean it's not helpful. And by the way, anything you crave more than him is sinful. Anything. Even if itself is not sinful, it becomes sinful because you want it more than him. And Deuteronomy says, for I am a jealous God. I won't share you. God isn't into open relationships. He's the crazy. He's going through all your DMs, deleting stuff. He's going through all your emails, finding out who's been emailing you. God is not playing. He does not want to share you with anyone or anything. The Bible says he is a jealous God, that he wants you unto himself. And this is what happens. Verse 3. Once you decide for me, listen to me, you will come and eat. Verse 3. Come to me with your ears wide open. Okay, you've chosen me as your food. You've chosen me as your water, as your thirst. Come to me with your ears wide open. Listen and find life. I will make an everlasting covenant with you. I will give you all the unfailing love I promised to David. Let's stop there. He goes, if you choose me as your food, as your water, make sure you come to me with your ears wide open. It's really interesting to me that we come to prayer with our ears wide shut. Why would he have to say, come to me with your ears wide open if there's not the other option? Never be shocked that God isn't speaking when you've already decided what you're going to do. Don't be shocked when you leave prayer going, I got nothing, because you didn't need nothing. You already decided what you were going to do beforehand. It's amazing how God won't talk to those who already chose their way. So that's why I want to ask you, when you come to prayer, have you already decided what you're going to do anyway? And you're merely going to him to tell people you prayed. I love it. People do this to me all the time. None of you, it's all the people that skip church today. None of you, okay. They'll want to meet with me or meet with Julia. And they're wanting to ask us our opinion on a decision they're going to make, but they've already made it. So at the end of the conversation, I'll go, so why are we meeting? I just want to tell you. So you're not asking me my opinion. No, I just want you to know what I'm doing. But then they'll go away and tell people, well, I asked Pastor Andrew, he said, I'm like, you didn't ask me anything. You told me what you were going to do. You just wanted to meet with me to tell people you had covering. Yet you did not leave with advice because you didn't come with a question, you came with a statement. And how often we do that in prayer. We come to pray, but we're not really praying. We're telling ourselves what we're going to do. And then we leave our prayer time and go, man, the Lord really was not speaking today. Why would he? Your ears are closed. Because you've already decided what you're going to do anyway. Man, I want to challenge you as you start pursuing the Lord, as your thirst, as your hunger, as your food, come with your ears open. Come with your heart open. Lord, my ears are open to you. Speak. I have not made a decision yet. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have not moved yet. I will not move until you speak. The only thing worse than waiting for God is wishing you had. The only thing worse than waiting on God is wishing you had. And you start moving beyond God or ahead of God. You're like, man, I really should have waited. I really should have prayed. I really should have pondered. I really should have waited before I made that decision. And now you're stuck in something because you decided to do what you were going to do and you did not come to prayer with your ears wide open. If you want God to become your thirst and become your hunger and become your desire, make a decision. Every time I come to church, my ears are open. Every time I come to prayer, my ears are wide open. God, speak today. Lord, speak to my heart, speak to my mind. My ears are open. My ears are open, Lord. As I come to you, my ears are open. Speak. My ears are open. And look, let's keep going. Not only should your ears be open, but this is amazing. He keeps going. Let's go down to verse 6. He says, seek the Lord while you can find him. Call on him now while he is near. Let the wicked change their ways and banish the very thought of doing wrong. The second thing that happens when you choose the Lord as your thirst is he corrects your ways. He corrects your ways. I started going on a rant yesterday on my Instagram, but I stopped because I got bored. But isn't it interesting how often we come to the Bible and how we read stories? We are always Jonah. We're never Nineveh. We're always the one being sent to save people. We're never the place people God sends to save us. We're always John the Baptist. We're never Judas. Like, have you noticed that every time you read the Bible, you're never the bad person in it? You're always the one beside you. Yeah, that's right. My boss is Judas. That's right. He's stealing. Have you ever considered you've stolen from people? Have you ever considered at times you've been Esau, not Jacob? Have you ever considered you've been Pharaoh and not Moses? Have you ever considered you've been Cain, not Abel? I can keep going down the list. Why? Because when we go to the story, we want to see the good sides of ourselves, not the bad side of ourselves. And hear me, your identification is protecting you from conviction. Who you identify with is saving you from conviction. Because why would I ever identify as Judas? Because maybe you've stolen some stuff from people. Why would I ever identify as Esau? Because maybe you've traded some things that you should have never traded. Why do I ever identify as Nineveh? Because maybe you've been rebellious to the Lord and your friends are Jonah to you. You're not Jonah to them. Do you see where I'm going? Why? Because as we come to the Lord with our ears open, one of the questions should be, is there any way I need to change? Is there any wicked way? Notice what he says, let the wicked change their paths. One of the things that you should do as you're coming to God and pursuing him and hungering after him is he will challenge your ways. Hey, am I the Lord of your life? Yeah, Lord. Okay, we're going to stop doing that. That's mine. What do you mean? No. If I'm Lord of all. And if you're going to follow me, we're going to change that way. And we're going to stop doing that, stop talking like that, stop posting that, and stop doing that, and stop talking like that, stop emailing like that, stop being like that, stop dating like that, stop relating like that, stop spending like that, stop eating like that. No, we're going to change our ways. Well, I'm really comfortable in this way. I know I'm going to change your palate. And it's going to taste like bitter rocks in the beginning, but it'll start tasting like sweet honey in a moment. Just follow me while I'm changing your palate. I'm changing your palate to like something else. And it doesn't taste good in the beginning, but you will learn that righteousness is an acquired taste. Amen. Open your ears. What do you open your ears to? Areas that you aren't acting like Jesus. Once again, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about all the people that skip church today. All of you guys are very holy and perfect and need not to change. Isn't it interesting, even during a sermon, you can think, I hope she's paying attention. As if it's not for you. Man, I really hope my spouse is listening. This is really for your identification is saving you from conviction. What do I do when I open my ears? Why am I opening my ears? So that he might course correct our ways. He might course correct what we're thinking about. He might course correct how we're treating. He might course correct how we're living. He might course correct the life that we're going down, because Proverbs says there is a way that seems right to man, but in the end it leads to death. How many times have we gone down a path going, oh, this is good, this is great, I feel great, I look good, look at me, go you, go, and then get there and going, this is death. And this is what always happens. This is what always happens. We go, how did I get here? It was one step. It was one Sunday. It was one text. It was one DM. It was one email. No one chooses to wake up there, but yet we make decisions every day that get us there. And we wake up one morning going, how did I get so angry? When did I get so bitter? When did I'm this now? It was 1 inch after 1 inch. And you thought it was the path of life. Because Proverbs says there is a way that seems right, that in the end leads to death. Right now, are there any courses you have chosen that God wants to course correct? Course correct. Come to me with your ears wide open that I might talk to you about what? Some course correction that I need to change. Look at verse 8. We'll keep going. The third thing that happens. He says, my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts. All of you old saints have been in church for a long time. You know Isaiah 55, verse 9. My thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. They are far beyond anything you could imagine. Well, Lord, how high? From as high as the heavens are from the earth. That's how much better my thoughts are than yours. So my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. The third thing that happens when you seek the Lord and thirst and hunger is he changes the way you think. My thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. So far are my thoughts above your thoughts, it's like the heavens to the earth. How much higher my thoughts are yours. One thing that you should start doing as you pursue the Lord in hunger and in thirst, go, Lord, I want to think how you think. Let me think about my spouse how you think about my spouse. Let me think about my job how you think about my job. Let me think about this city how you think about this city. You are constantly asking what everybody else thinks. Have you asked what God thinks? Well, what does CNN think? And what does Fox News think? And what does the Daily Wire think? And what does AOC think? And what does Joe Rogan think? And what does my professor think? And what does my neighbor think? What do I think? Have you actually stopped and considered, go, Lord, what do you think? God, what do you think about my body? What do you think about my marriage? What do you think about this city? What do you think about money? What do you think about sexuality? What do you think about resource? What do you think about our nation? What do you think about God, what do you think? Because your thoughts are so much better than my thoughts. And your ways are way better than my ways. And I got some good ways. But God, your ways are better than my ways. Your thoughts are better than my thoughts. Hear me. One of the ways that you love the Lord is not thinking about him, it's thinking like him. Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your strength, and your mind. Okay, Lord, I'm going to think about you. No, you don't love the Lord by thinking about him. You love the Lord by thinking like him. Samir, why did I come to church today? This is not the word I needed. Maybe it is. Have you ever stopped and thought about what you think about? And this is why many of you, especially young millennials and Gen Z, you always have music and Netflix and songs on because you don't want to think about what you think about. And so you'd rather distract yourself with noise because you'd rather not let your soul start getting louder. And have you ever just asked, do my thoughts honor the Lord? Not just do my ways honor him, do my thoughts honor him? Is what I spend an hour and a half not working and thinking all day, was that honoring to the Lord? Because the way I love the Lord is not just thinking about him, it's thinking like him. Because his thoughts are not my thoughts. Amen, Lord. Amen. And his ways are not my ways. So as I come to a decision, my question is, Lord, is this your way? Because my ways are not as good as your ways. And Lord, is this thought your thought? Because your thoughts are better than my thought. As you open your ears, you get course corrected and you get your mind redeemed. You get your mind restored. You get your ways restored. And you come to go, Lord, your ways are better than my ways. Your thoughts are better than my thoughts. And I want to think like you. Is there anything that you think right now that's not of the Lord? That's not his thought. That's not his way. We don't say this out loud because I think we know better, but we live this way that we think we're smarter than God. None of us would ever tweet that or write that, put that in our bio. Andrew Damasio, Nike designer, smarter than God. You know, like none of us would put that in our bio or our resume. Why do you think you deserve this job? I'm smarter than God. Oh. But we say it all the time by doing what we think is better. God, that's cute, God, that you think that's how this works down here, but I'm gonna, you think you're smarter? No, I'm just gonna do what I want though. And decision after decision after decision, relationship after relationship, money after money, job after job, we're constantly saying, my ways are better. My thoughts are higher. Until you get a little older and a little bruised. Get some wounds that you've been licking because you thought your ways were better. And God is saying, if you would choose me as your thirst, if you would choose me as your food, I would show you my thoughts are so much better than your thoughts. And my ways are so much better than your ways. Come to me with your ears open. Why? So I can tell you how I think. I can show you which way to go. And I can save you from all of the pain of going your way. Have you ever like made a decision and in the moment it seems really, really good? And then like a week or a month later, you say this out loud, what was I thinking? After the relationship ends, it started on honeymoon. And by the time you break up, you're like, what was I thinking? Not God thoughts. After leaving that job, you're like, why did I take that job? Because you went your way. One of the things that he does when you choose him as your thirst, you choose him as your hunger, he lifts your thoughts. He lifts your ways to be higher. Look at number 4. We got to end. The band's coming to kick me off. I see them all coming. Verse 10. Why are my thoughts higher? Why are my ways better? The rain and snow come down from the heavens and stay on the ground to water the earth. They cause the grain to grow, producing seed for the farmer and bread for the hungry. There's that language again. It is the same with my word. I send it out, and it always produces fruit. It will always accomplish all that I want it to, and it will prosper everywhere I send it. The fourth thing that happens when you begin to choose him as your hunger, as your thirst, is you start realizing his word never fails. I love this picture. He goes, do you know how rain goes and snow goes? And it sits on the ground until produce starts growing, grain starts growing, and it stays there until its job is done. That's the same as my word. Wherever I send it, it never comes back void. Wherever I send my word, it always accomplishes everything I want it to accomplish. My kids do this often, and they're actually humans now. They can read and write and look at time. I go, yeah, it's bedtime. Like, it's 6:30, it's not bedtime. I'm like, dang it. They're too smart now. I have to get wittier on how I get them to go to sleep early so I can hang out with their mom. They say this all the time. Dad, you said we would go to 7-Eleven and get ice cream. Dude, it's like 8:30. You said we would go. Dude, I know I said, you told me. And notice how they get what they want. They say my words back to me. Do you know what you can do with God? You said, by the way, you said I'm the head and not the tail. You said I am blessed and I am not cursed. You said I'm loved, I'm forgiven. You said I have a future, you said this, by the way. And what you can do, and your word is like snow and rain. Wherever it goes, it will do what everything God wanted it to do. As you pursue him, as your thirst and as your hunger and as you crave, you can start feeding yourself on his word and say it back to him, because his word is like rain. It will stay until it accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish. And you can build your life knowing his word is faithful. The last thing that happens when you choose him as your craving. Verse 13. Where once there was thorns, cypress trees will grow. Where needles grew, myrtles will sprout up. What do trees have to do this? You know what he's saying? Where once thorns were, trees are coming. What he's literally saying is, I will make a divine exchange with you. In areas of your life that thorns used to grow, I will have fruit grow. Do you know what you can do when you pursue him as your hunger and your thirst? I want to exchange my thorns. This relationship has been a thorn. This mindset has been a thorn. That thing in my past has been a thorn. Where thorns grew, I want trees. As you come to him as you're craving, I gotta end, but I've hated wine my whole life. I don't know why. It's awful to me. I love whiskey. I hate tequila. I like whiskey. I've hated wine my whole life up until recently, because I didn't realize I was always tasting bad wine. Just bad wine. And recently my wife and I went to dinner, who loves wine. She's Italian, so it's like water. And she got this bottle of wine, and she's like, taste it. And I drank it, and I was like, this tastes good. And it was wild having something that used to taste bitter now tastes sweet. And now I'm like, do you want to get some wine? Because now I've learned what tastes good. And it's been a redemption of something I've hated now like. Many of you, I believe that God is going to exchange something you always thought was so bitter. I don't like this at all. This has been a bitter taste in my mouth, that he's going to bring sweetness. He's going to bring an exchange. He's going to bring an exchange. Going, hey, give me your thorns, and I'll give you back trees. I'll get where pain has been, I'll give you growth. But it all starts in verse 1, Isaiah 55, verse 1. Choose me when you're thirsty. Choose me when you're hungry. Choose me when you're parched. Choose me when you're starving. Come to me, all who thirst. Stop spending money on all those things that do not fill you. Stop spending money on things that leave you hungry. Stop spending money on things that leave you dry. Choose me. I'm not mad at your cravings. I just am mad where you go to fulfill them. Are you starving? Are you hungry? Choose me. Choose me if you're thirsty. Choose me if you're hungry. And come to me with your ears wide open. I'll correct your ways. I'll give you thoughts that are not like your thoughts. I'll give you ways that are not like your ways. I'll speak my word on you, and it will never come back void. I will make an exchange with you. I will speak to your heart. And it's this promise to all those who come to him. Can we stand to our feet? I'm going to pray. We're going to go back into time of worship. We're going to sing this song here in a moment that I made the band sing. It wasn't in the agenda, but I made them sing this song because I want you to hear the words of this song. But I want to start here. Some of you are like, I don't have a craving for the Lord. I don't have a desire for the Lord. That's okay. I want to praise Philippians 2. Give me the desire. I don't have it. I want to crave you. I want to hunger for you. I want to thirst for you, as David says, in a dry and weary land. That's how I want you. I want to pray Philippians 2, that he would give you the desire. That he would begin to stir something in you, a hunger for him. If that's you, don't want to put you on the spot, don't want to embarrass you. But if that's you, it all starts with an invitation. It all starts with a statement saying, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and I'm choosing the Lord. I'm choosing him for my cravings. He's my comfort food. He's the food that I want. He's the drink that I want. He's the thirst I want. If you want to have another level of hunger for Jesus, another level of thirst for him, would you just put your hand up so I know who I'm praying for? If it's not you, it's not you, that's totally fine. But man, I'm hungry. I want more. I want to thirst. I want to hunger. I want to desire. I'm tired of spending my money on things that do not fill me. Father, you see every hand. You see every heart. God, we want to hunger after you. We want to crave after you. We want to be thirsty for you. We are tired of spending our life. We're tired of spending our money. We're tired of spending our love. We're tired of spending our emotions on things that leave us hungrier than we were before. We're tired of spending money on food that does not give us strength. We choose you today. We hunger after you today. We thirst after you today. Would you fill us today, Lord? Would you fill us with strength today? We hunger for you. We thirst for you. We desire you. We come with our ears wide open. Speak to us today, God. Our thoughts are not like your thoughts. Our ways are not like your ways. Jesus, speak to us today. Open our ears, open our heart. Put the desire in us to even want you. We can't even want you without you helping us wanting you. Build the desire in our heart today, God. We worship you, we love you, we exalt you, and we want to hunger and thirst for you. Let's worship together.